Click those tongs.
Welcome to show number 10.
Number 10, double digits,
Up
baby.
in the double digits. And since today's pick is by T-Guid, he is rolling with music from Whitesnake and recipe of chicken parm with fried eggplant. This is going to be my wife's personal favorite show thus far, I guarantee. She is an eggplant freak.
Well, I'm calling an audible because you know as well as I do. Before we did the show, I sent you a text, and it's going to be Whitesnake and coffee rubbed bone-in pork chop.
Well, that sounds good too.
Oh yeah, we're gonna cover that later. But we just we got back from church, and my wife was like, "Man, you cooked that the other night. Let's do it again." We had some chicken left over, so we did chicken parm with some eggplant. Woo! We're gonna talk about that.
Man, can't wait for that. Well, you know, this music thing, this is right after my own heart. This is, Whitesnake was right in the 80s hair zone. That's what I'm all about. That's what I'm all about. I've got a couple of really great stories after we kind of get into the whole Whitesnake thing here, but yeah.
Well, the reason I picked him is because, when I first was exposed, I guess is the right term to use, to metal hair bands back in probably 82, 83. It was, first of all, Motley Crue. And then soon after that, it was Rat, Cinderella, Whitesnake.
They were all coming out of the woodwork.
All that. And before that, of course, you had like Van Halen, Led Zeppelin, which we covered already. All the ones that came before that. But I'm talking like big hair bands,
yeah,
dressing up in like borderline drag and leather and lace and all that stuff. Like
it was a sign of the times.
Glam rock and all that stuff. But Whitesnake, although when I saw them, they were always a backup band to some of these other bigger bands.
Yeah,
they always. I mean, when I tell you, doing air guitar and drums and all that, like when you partying, we had a place called the Barn, which we haven't even talked about. That have I ever told you about the Barn?
I know nothing about this barn.
Okay, well, let me tell you. When you were at Como High School back in the 80s, between 82 and 85, which is when I was there, and you heard in the hallways, because this was before cell phones and text messages and all that, when you heard from one of your friends, "Hey, bruh, Friday night, party at the Barn." I mean, word traveled not only like wildfire in Como High School, it spread to Northside, Acadiana, Lafayette High, St. Thomas More. And that night, you had people from all around Acadiana at the Barn. Now, the Barn was a barn. My dad had a piece of property. It had horses on it, about 11 and 13 at one time. And it had a big barn where the horses were. And right next to it was the little barn. And it had it was made for entertaining. Had open floor plan, had a stereo system in there. We had a big dining table for playing quarters. And I mean, it was a party at the Barn. It was kind of, back then, it's like around the border of the big neighborhood River Ranch, but back then it was like out in the country. And man, we tore it up. So when I tell you, like, lights out, and then people putting on Whitesnake and people just running around doing air guitar and air drumming to Whitesnake, dude, it was like apocalyptic, man.
Oh man, I love that. I'll tell you, for me, the whole Whitesnake, what appealed to me was I was always a child of the 80s, grew up in LA in the 80s and everything, that. But I have some deep roots with blues, some real blues guys. And for me, Whitesnake was always very blues based, kind of, I mean, they were very Zeppelin-esque, who, also blues based.
They even looked like them.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of similarities. And so that's what captured me, was that energy. And then of course they jumped on that bandwagon with the 80s hair and the sparkle clothes and the big hair and everything else. But
right,
that's what got me into them for sure.
Well, in doing my research, I didn't realize, but David Coverdale came from Deep Purple.
Yeah,
and that was one of Robert Plant's old bands.
Yeah,
so I mean, it's just it's amazing. They looked alike, they sounded alike, and I would beg to differ that they had their own personal vibe, but you can't despise. I mean, you can't dispute the fact that they actually do look alike and
Yeah,
even sound alike. You know,
a lot of similarities, and there's that influence that runs deep, and of course they're going to pick up on some of that as time
yeah.
goes on. So,
But dude, that dude had some great hair, huh? Man,
didn't we all?
yeah. I mean, when I had hair, yeah. I mean, he's right up there with Bon Jovi. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Oh
John
yeah,
Bon Jovi in his heyday had the
yeah.
best hair, but
Oh
David
man,
Coverdale had the length on him.
the frosted tips. Come
Oh,
on, yeah, come on.
I can see why them girls were going crazy, bro.
Some marketing firm said, "Hey, man, '80s is where it's, or Sunset Strip is where it's happening in the mid to late '80s," and they said we're going to run with this, and every
Yeah.
band got, prettier and prettier, sleazier and sleazier. But Whitesnake did bring a certain amount of class when they showed up on the scene. They kind of brought the masculinity back to the rock and roll a little bit, I think, even though there was still plenty of glitter and sparkle and hair and everything.
Right.
But
Well, and he had Tony.
yeah, well, yeah, Tawny Katane.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, what a doll.
Man, so I got two stories I got personally about Whitesnake. One of them involves the bass player, one of the bass players at one point in time, Rudy Sarzo, who played with Quiet Riot. He played with Dio. He played with a bunch of other people. He's back with Quiet Riot.
Right.
But for a while he was in Whitesnake, and when I was 13 years old, my dad's secretary knew Rudy's wife somehow or another. There was some connection there. So as a surprise, one Saturday, I'm a snot-nosed little bratty teenager, 13 years old. And my dad says, I need your hands, an extra pair of hands. I got to go to work and do a thing. I'm like,
Do I have
complaining the whole time. Well,
you want me to take out the trash?
he was taking me over to Rudy Sarzo's house to meet him, which, of course, it turned into a great day. And I happen to have that picture right there of.
Oh, were you right there, bruh?
I'm 13 right there.
That's freaking incredible.
I'm wearing my Arroyo Seco Junior High marching band shirt. And that's Rudy Sarzo in his house, the gold records behind him and everything. He had just left Quiet Riot. He was starting a new band with Tony McAlpine and Tommy Aldridge on drums called Project Driver. Kind of went nowhere. And then shortly after that, he was in Whitesnake. So that was my first rock star encounter, Rudy Sarzo.
That's freaking crazy.
Years later, I'm going to high school with a guy. His name is Chris Collier. I'm going to give him a shout out. So maybe he'll listen. We're still in touch every now and then. Chris Collier has made a name for himself in the music industry as a really, really good producer, engineer. He has been David Coverdale's right-hand man now for a number of years, re-releasing all the old Whitesnake stuff, mastering, remixing everything. In fact, moved to Vegas so he can be near Coverdale. And there you go. I'm 2 degrees of separation from Whitesnake.
That's amazing.
1 degree, I guess.
Wow. Well, look, while we're talking about LA and everything, we'd be remiss not to just let everybody know that we know what's going on over there with all the wildfires.
Man, crazy.
People have they've lost everything, and we actually in our church service we were praying for those people affected, and a lot of people affected. It's not over. They still got going on. I got a friend that lives up in the unaffected area, and he's fine. But I mean, they got some crazy stuff going over there. A lot of looting, and it's just pretty bad.
It's insane, and we appreciate the thoughts and prayers. I grew up there, and it's always fire season in SoCal. It's always dry. The slightest, it's so easy for a fire to start, and I think a lot of these may be intentional, but whether they are or not, I mean, if you have car trouble and you pull over, just the heat from underneath your car can ignite that dry brush. It's always fire season. However, I have never seen it this bad.
No, this was horrible, man.
Yeah.
And I know I don't want to go political at all, but I think at the end of the day, they got some problems that they found that they have, and they better take care of it.
They gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Well, look, man, I'll say so. So we just brought the whole program down.
I mean, that's it. Good night, everybody.
But let's listen to some music, bro. Look, I got it queued up right here. Let y'all sit back, turn up your radio. Here we go. My body started shaking and I can't take no more.
Sing it. I would try it, but
love that.
I would try hitting some notes, but I just got over a touch of laryngitis last week, and I just healed up a couple of days ago where I was able to talk again, and I was out playing gigs with my band this weekend, and I'm just still.
Yeah, so you're still a little bit Clint, bro.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, it never gets any better. We're not getting any younger.
No, dude. I mean, but hey, we got the wisdom, you know.
I guess
we didn't have it back when we were in our 20s and stuff, but we got the wisdom.
Yeah,
and just loving these bands, bro. So look, we're at the almost the 12-minute mark.
Oh, we got to get to cooking. Come on.
So let's get to the recipe, and we'll wrap it up with a little bit more Whitesnake. I want to hear that other story you got.
I told them both. I got my producer friend and Rudy Sarzo.
Oh, you done?
Yeah, that's it. Okay. That's all I got.
That's all you got. That's enough, bro. You got a lot more than most people, bro.
I'm sure you have Whitesnake on that cup you're drinking out of.
Yeah, it's on there somewhere. I know
it's got to be.
It is. Got to be. There it is. Docking was another one I was thinking about talking about, but it's on there somewhere. Hey, so chicken parm. So, you know, this is a grilling show, and a lot of people are listening to the show, and they're like, "Wait a minute, Gidry, come on, coon ass. I mean, you talking about you're gonna cook that on the grill? You can. I mean, I have. Now, I didn't tonight, but it's real simple, dude. I mean, a grill is basically an outdoor kitchen. You got fire, you got heat, you got to close the lid, you got an oven effect. I mean, there's nothing you can't cook on a grill, whether it's charcoal, gas, or pellet, maybe even electric, that you can't cook in your kitchen. I mean, you may have to like improvise. You may have to think outside the box, but you can do it. So what you want to start with, and what we started with, was 3 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Okay. Now they're thick. You don't want to cook that like that. So you're gonna take a sharp knife and you're gonna put your hand flat on the meat, and then come down about halfway on the thick part, and cut through and through the whole chicken breast.
Very carefully. Be careful.
Yeah, 2 pieces. You always want to keep your hand flat and let the blade go parallel with your hand. Don't ever put your fingers down on the side cutting into your hand. Always hold it flat, put a little bit of pressure, and just kind of work that knife all the way through. But you want to get as close to half. You don't have to pound them out. I mean, you're going to go from the thick part of the chicken breast, you know, about 1.5 inches comme ça, to about probably 3/4 of an inch. So that's what you want. And then what you're going to do is you're going to lay them out, pat them dry with the paper towels. This is the most important part. You're going to take 2 parts extra Cajun.
Next to not cutting your fingers off.
Well, now you can put those back on, dude. You got Band-Aids and all that. That ain't important. Flavor's important. So you're going to use 2 parts extra Cajun seasoning to 1 part oregano. So what you're going to do is you're going to get a little bowl, and you're going to get 2 tablespoons, what I use, for that amount of chicken. 2 tablespoons of extra Cajun seasoning, and then you put a tablespoon of oregano. I use dried oregano. If you got fresh oregano, that's fine with you. That's fine. And then you put it in the bowl and you mix it up real good, because them leaves are going to be real coarse, and you want to kind of grind them up a little bit and mix it all together. Then you're going to take 3 eggs, and you're going to take you're going to whisk that up, and that's going to be your drizzling
Mm-hmm.
sauce. And then you're going to take equal portions of flour and Italian breadcrumbs, and you put that in a pan and you mix the flour and the breadcrumbs together. And then what you're going to do is you're going to season the chicken real good on both sides. Again, binder. You can put a little olive oil if you want. It doesn't affect this recipe whatsoever, whether you put or don't put a binder. Just season both sides generously with that rub. Pass it through your egg wash. Then drizzle uh, run it through the breadcrumbs and the flour, and then set it off to the side, both sides. Then in a hot cast iron skillet on the stove or on the grill. We're talking about the grill now, so you can do it over direct fire. You want to get your cast iron pot hot. You want to have a lid to the pot. That's another thing, because you want to cook it fast. You don't want to burn the breading. You want to
Mm-hmm.
brown it, but you want to cook that chicken through and through to 165, 170. So what you do is you put some olive oil. I got butter flavored olive oil, some gourmet olive oil that I got at the kitchen area. They need to throw me a little sponsor or something like that. But anyway, you put that. You're not gonna be like frying it. You just you want to put enough to where you got about an eighth inch of amount of oil over the bottom of the whole pan. But you don't have to submerge the fresh fillet. Okay, and then you drop it in there in that hot skillet. Put the lid on immediately, and then let it go for a couple of minutes. You want to check it from time to time. Again, just get your fork or tongs and just check the bottom. When it starts to turn a deep golden brown, flip it over, put the lid back on it, and let it go for about another 3 to 5 minutes. I mean, you're looking at a total cook time of around 10 minutes to
Yeah, so it's pretty
15 minutes.
quick. So
It goes
don't walk away and get distracted.
Yeah, and don't drink too many cervezas, because that's how most people they burn their food. They lose track of time and all that stuff with the booze and stuff. But that's okay. If you wanna drink, that's fine. I don't drink, but that's okay.
Just don't get distracted.
Don't get distracted.
That's what we're saying.
You got an iPhone, set your time on your iPhone. But when it hits 165, you can pull it because it'll carry another 5-10 degrees. So have your plate with some paper towels to soak up some of that excess oil. Put it on the paper plate with the napkin, and then do a whole nother batch. Now, depending on the size of your skillet, like I had 3 fillets, I had 6 fillets after I cut them up. So I had to do 3 batches. I could do 3 fillets in my little 12-inch skillet that I had. So after you do your chicken, while that's going on, you get your little saucepan and you get you a couple of pats of butter and a white onion, a half a white onion diced up. Put it in the saucepan with the butter. Saute that while you cooking your chicken, and then after your vegetables become translucent, sauteed, add a 1 can of tomato sauce in the pot in the saucepan, not with the chicken, in a separate saucepan. And then season to taste. You're probably gonna put about a tablespoon of extra Cajun and about a half a tablespoon of oregano in there with that, and that's gonna be your marinara sauce. Okay, so let that go off to the side, and it's just you want to simmer that, so you can put that over a low fire. Let it go. Stir occasionally. After you got your chicken all done, take it. I mean, some people leave the skin on the eggplant. I don't. I think it's too chewy. So I normally like cut the skin off, but pretty close to the meat of the actual eggplant. So I cut several times all the way around it. So you have just the raw eggplant with no skin. And I like to cut them in discs, not too thin. I'd say about 3/8 of an inch. My,
Mm-hmm.
my wife cut them tonight a little bit thinner than I like, but that's all right. Just don't cut them paper thin,
Right,
because
right.
you want to have a little bit of meat on each eggplant. So about 3/8 of an inch to a quarter of an inch minimum. Uh, uh, that's probably it. And then you do the same thing. You dip it in the egg wash, you dip it in the flour and breadcrumb, and then you fry that. And again, you put them in there. You could probably put in a 12-inch skillet. I think I had 6 at a time. You put them in there. You put the lid on the pot, medium to high heat over your direct fire on your grill, and then check it in a couple of minutes. When it starts to turn golden brown, not burnt, not too light, you want it golden brown, deep golden brown. flip them over, put the lid back on, close the lid of the grill, give it another 2 to 5 minutes, and it don't take long because that eggplant, it's gonna be crispy on the outside and nice and a nice velvet consistency of the meat on the inside.
That's a perfect description to describe eggplant like that.
Oh, it's just like butter, bro.
Yeah.
And then you can do the pasta if you want on the grill. I mean, you want to go crazy and show off in front of your friends. Do it all. Just do it all. Get your big pot and everything.
No sense in running back and forth inside and out. Just do it all outside.
Yeah. But I mean, most outdoor kitchens have a side burner, so you could do it on the side burner.
There you go.
But we did just regular spaghetti. You could do fettuccine noodles. You can do angel hair pasta, whatever you want. We like the spaghetti with this. And then you cook that. So this is how you prepare the plate. You take you some of the spaghetti and you put it in the middle of the plate, and you take your tongs and you swirl it for it turns up into like a mound coming down. And then you put some of that marinara sauce just on the top of the spaghetti, and then you put your your fried chicken on top of the marinara sauce and spaghetti. Put a little bit of extra marinara sauce on top of the chicken fillet, and then some freshly shredded, or you can do whole thick slices of Parmesan cheese. You can do mozzarella cheese. You can do whatever cheese you like, but it's called chicken parm for a reason.
All right.
But whatever cheese you like. I mean, we had a combination of parm and mozzarella. So you put the shredded cheese on top of that while it's still hot, and then you come back and put your eggplant off to the side with just a little bit of the marinara sauce, just kissing the sides of it. Let me tell you, you're gonna hurt yourself.
I definitely got to try this. My wife loves eggplant. I've never been a huge fan, but I grew up eating it, and especially chicken parm. My Sicilian side, my mom's side, my grandma used to make, chicken parm all the time. This sounds fantastic. The extra Cajun seasoning, I mean, we know it goes on everything. Where would one get such a seasoning?
Well, you go to extracajun.com, or you can go to Amazon, search it out on Amazon. If you do a Google search, you'll see where you can buy it on Amazon. Shipping is free, and we can get it to you either way. If you're in the local area, we got a few grocery stores here in Acadiana that are having it on the shelves. So check it out, man.
Right on.
But if you can't find it, just send me a message at extracajun.com. We got not only great seasonings and hot sauces, we got some pretty great apparel.
You got the swag.
I got the jacket on.
Yeah.
Little extra Cajun, but I'm telling you. Okay, so extra Cajun. What makes it so damn extra? Well, it's what I grew up when my mom and dad were cooking. This is what the food tasted like. Not too salty, not too peppered. It's just right. It has a robust midsection of flavor that is all about Cajun. So just give it a try, and I'm telling you, you can. It's very versatile. Like if you're doing an Italian dish, this could be your base, and you could add your oregano and parsley and all this other stuff in with your and fennel seed. I'm a big fennel seed when it comes to spaghetti, but not with my chicken parm. So, but yeah, I mean, I normally do like a fish fillet. I'll do my extra Cajun with a little bit of Greek seasoning on top of that, and it's just phenomenal. So,
yep, I can attest to the versatility of that flavor, of that seasoning. Because what do we hear all the time when we say we got extra Cajun seasoning, and right away they go, "Oh, I don't like spice." I'm like, now hold it, now hold on.
It's too pepper. It's like, man, come on, Couillon. The whole reason we came out with this is because my wife has some Italian bloodline. That's why we love the Italian food. But I'm 3 parts Cajun. I got Landry, Champagne, and Guidry, and I got a little Irish in me. That's what makes me so upset sometimes. But let me tell you, that I take great offense when we do these cookouts all around the country. I mean, you're up there in the Northwest. I'm in the Sun Belt region. I got 7 states. And when people say, "Oh, I can't eat Cajun food," I said, "What, you're allergic?" And they're like, "No, it's too spicy." And I'm like, "Now I don't know what you're eating, but it ain't Cajun food." Because
they're eating that bad marketing Cajun. It's, burn your face off. That's not how it should be, people.
That's not Cajun. Now, if you like it spicy, you're gonna have to add some cayenne to my seasoning. And if you like it salty, you better bust out some salt, because
then get some salt.
yeah, I mean, just make it yours. But but I'm telling you, the flavor profile from what we got from all our friends and family, and that's the toughest critic, bro. When you got family, when they tried it, they're like, man, don't change a damn thing, man. You got it spot on, Gidry. That's perfect. So we're happy with it. Yeah. So no more Whitesnake stories?
Well, I just had the two, personally, but that was it. I mean, otherwise they were another band in LA. I love David Coverdale was known for hiring and firing great guitar players. They'd last an album, sometimes even a tour, and then he'd change out the lineup. My favorite album was the one where they had Steve Vai playing guitar. I think Vivian Campbell, or was it Adrian Vandenberg? I forget who the second guitar player was with Steve Vai. But that was such a lineup, and that album, I believe it was Slip of the Tongue.
Oh, yeah.
Just a powerful rock album. And you talk about Steve Vai on guitar. He made a name for himself really with David Lee Roth. But his career started with Frank Zappa long before that. Like, he is an exceptional player. Yeah. He is not a ham-handed metal player like a lot of these guys are. He is an exceptional technical guitar player. So that was my favorite era, the Steve Vai era, Whitesnake.
Well, I mean, I'm telling you, a lot of fond memories to Whitesnake.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
So look, man, you're gonna be picking next week. You got any ideas? You want to give him a teaser? Or you want
let's see. I'm looking over at the side of my memorabilia wall, and I'm just gonna say, I'll say, I got it.
You got it. You want to leave it a secret? You want to give him a little hint?
Stray Cats. We'll be the band. We're going to get away from the hair metal a little bit, still 80s, but the rockabilly throwback Cats, man. Stray Cats. We'll go with that.
I've seen them live one time.
Is that right?
Oh, I mean, pretty badass. They're good.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I looked up at the memorabilia wall, and I was like, oh, there's an autographed Brian Setzer 8x10. I'm like, all right, we'll go with Stray Cats.
There you go, Brett. All right, guys. Well, look, bring us out, Jim. Give us the little closing, and I'll put us on the back end, man.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this one. I can't remember if we came up with a tagline to end the show. It's been too long since we've done one.
Well, just see you next time.
See you next time, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Punched out and I'm headed home. The grill's calling and it's time to roam. Classic rock on the menu tonight. Ribeye and shrimp, the perfect bite. Rockin da Grill, been waiting all day. Smoking fire, it's time to rock my mysterious pill. Come and join us, Rockin da Grill. Click those tongs.
Good stuff.